So here is Alyssa having her first ride on Mr. Bridger, and this is my 11-year-old former steeplechase horse who's already also a very experienced staff horse, and he's done some low-level jumpers, and so he comes to me with just a huge amount of life experiences doing a variety of different things, and I've ridden him quite a few times now, jumped him, flatted him, he's been excellent, and so I know Alyssa's been wanting to get on him. And I was happy to get to see him go from the ground because I really haven't yet. So I thought that she did a lovely job with him. He's such a lovely moving horse, and he has a real presence about him. Being on the ground and looking at him, it would be very hard to take your eyes off of him, even if there was another horse in the ring, because he really just sort of commands attention. He's obviously extremely good looking, and he's a lovely mover, and there's just something about him that is he's just gorgeous horse to look at. So with Bridger, I've been playing around with bits. He is definitely your very typical sensitive skinned red-headed horse. I rode him one day in little tiny spurs, and I managed to give him a spur rub on his left side, which I feel terrible about. So of course now we're not riding him in spurs. And I think I also rode him in a loose ring one day, and that gave him some little teeny rub marks on the sides of his cheeks. So now I'm playing around with different types of bits. And actually, I rode him today in a hackamore in an effort just to sort of get the bit out of his mouth and also just kind of to see how he would be. And we had a fantastic ride. We jumped in it actually, and he did all sorts of cool stuff. He did a super skinny, really skinny one stride, skinny to skinny, and we did some bounces, and he was fantastic. It was pretty cool to ride him around in the hack. And then I always think, once you ride them in a hack, then when you do put a bit back in their mouth, life is just going to seem so easy. And it was probably a cool change for him also. So anyway, back to bits. I'm trying all sorts of different bits and non-bits, obviously, too, if I'm also riding him in a hackamore sometimes. So we are working on getting all of his skin issues resolved. He actually also has a little bit of scratches on his pasterns. So yeah, his skin has been rebelling against me. So we're doing our best to get it all quieted back down. What has been going well though is actually his feet are looking really good. When he came, he was due and he lost a shoe, and I was a little bit nervous, like I hope we can get this corrected, but we really have. My farrier did a beautiful job getting him redone, and he seems really happy in his feet. So I'm thrilled about that. So we are trying to win the skin battle, but we seem to be really happy in our feet. So I guess I'll take that. So Bridge here is a very happy citizen to the left. That's definitely his stronger direction. So of course, that's the direction Alyssa's going to canter in first. And actually his canter work is really coming along so nicely. He's feeling very balanced. He's holding his frame nicely. I think that this is quite lovely. It's been feeling good to ride, but it's always nice to sort of step back and see it from the ground. And I think it really looks quite good. He is a forward-thinking horse, but he's not a hot horse. It's not like he's ever trying to run off with you. Actually, if anything, I find that when he finds things getting kind of tough, if anything, he wants to break a little bit. Alyssa I don't remember what was going on in the driveway, but something piqued his attention, which is why he's lifting his head. So Alyssa's doing a circle here to get his attention back on her, which she does a very nice job doing. Yeah, and then these are some really nice steps here. Good boy. Yeah, I like that frame a lot. So it's quite good to the left. Of course, we took a little walk break, and he is the type of horse he's been happy to just walk around on a loose rein. He's been quite easygoing, and he's not, in the canter to the left, he saw something in the distance that caught his attention, but he's absolutely not a spooky horse. I actually don't think I can recall him spooking at anything so far. So he's been very confident within himself, and he's just a really solid citizen. Thought that Alyssa had some really nice trot work to the right. I was doing pictures and video, so I think for whatever reason, when I looked at the pictures, it looks like I was taking pictures when she was trotting to the left and I was videoing when she trotted to the right. So it's not quite even what I have both directions, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. He did some really nice trot work to the right. This is quite good here in his flexion and his frame. And then up, he says that's really hard, comes against for a couple of steps. So to the right, he wants to always bend to the left. So when you're going to the left, I told Alyssa you want to think about being really straight and adding some counter bend sometimes. And when you're going to the right, of course, you want to be working on that right flexion. So he really never needs to practice bending to the left because that's his default. That's what he naturally wants to do. So of course we have to practice all of the opposite things, all the things that he thinks are harder to do. So doing lots of circles to the right, and this right here is really quite nice. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I think he's looking quite good. And he's just such an attractive type of horse. So anyway, well done to Alyssa. I thought that she had a lovely ride on him.